Glastonbury is coming up this week. It's the biggest festival in the UK by a mile, arguably, the biggest festival in the world. I thought on New Music Monday I would like to offer some of my pre-Glastonbury predictions for the festival this year. I've made a Canva presentation because it's 2024 and that's what you do in 2024 when you want to get any thoughts across. First of all, best performance. Dua Lipa is headlining on the Friday and I really love her album Radical Optimism. I think this is the first time she's had proper top billing at Glastonbury. I don't think she is going to waste it. I feel like she's a kind of part of the cultural zeitgeist right now. She's just got something extra about her. The mass pop appeal, but also a bit of the depth and the edge that we heard on her latest album to really make a memorable mark on Glastonbury. Dua Lipa is fit, says Ellie in chat. Well, yeah, she is also fit, which always helps. Non-headline highlight. The Last Dinner Party, one of the breakthrough bands of this year, whose album Prelude to Ecstasy, their debut album, feels like it was last year because we've just had such a crammed release calendar this year. It did come out, I think, in January, and I've had the pleasure of seeing them live a handful of times last year and in a HMV in-store earlier this year. Honestly, I think these guys are going to steal the show. They put on an incredible live performance, and especially Abigail, the lead singer, her performance is so bewitching and captivating. They are going to be, maybe in the same way Circle Waves were blowing up after Reading, I think the Last Dinner Party will have a nice bump when everyone sees how good they are at Glastonbury. Most feral crowd. So who's going to get the biggest mosh pits? Who's going to get the most raucous scenes in the crowd? I am going to go with Idols. I think they're the one band who have kind of really nailed themselves to the mask with heavy music on this bill. Weirdly, they've collaborated with LCD Sound System, so could be an outside shot of some kind of collaboration there since they're both at the festival. But noticeably, that slot they've got on the other stage, headlining on the Friday night, is the same slot as Dua Lipa is playing. So all the kind of rock and metal people who are not going to be feeling Dua Lipa will be in this Idols crowd most likely, and they will be ready to mosh. They will be very, very ready to mosh. Surprise guest. Now, what do we know? Burna Boy is at the festival. Afrobeats King is headlining the Pyramid Stage on Sunday, and Chris Martin actually has a song with Burna Boy. So I feel like there's always one big guest feature every year at Glastonbury. Someone big coming out. I'm trying to remember who Muse brought out. Muse brought out The Edge when U2 had to drop out. And I think this year we're going to get Chris Martin coming out with Burna Boy. I've forgotten the name of the song they've got together. Monsters You Made. I remember the track when it came out, Monsters You Made. So I reckon Burna Boy will definitely bring out Chris Martin to perform that one. And while we're on the subject of Chris Martin and Coldplay, most predictable moment of Glastonbury, 1000%. If you're doing a drinking game and you want to get absolutely smashed, every time Chris Martin calls Glastonbury his favourite place in the world, do a shot. It's going to happen. At some point in the performance, if you watch it live, he'll say, Glastonbury, it's so amazing to be back. This is our favourite place in the whole world. It's going to happen. It's cool. I love Chris Martin. It's just one of those universal laws at this point. Now, I never want to bring negativity around, but I have included who I think is going to be the worst performance, the golden goose of Glastonbury Festival. And I'm actually going with Camilla Cabello. Sorry, Camilla. It's nothing personal. Her new track, I love it, just sounds really, really bad on the mix. It's kind of quite flat, and it's trying to take cues from hyperpop stuff, like JPEG Mafia, but I don't think she really pulls it off. And I watched the performance of it on, I believe, Jimmy Kimmel. Ellie says she's also fit in chat. Maybe, but it doesn't save her from a bad performance. I just think that she is not someone who's naturally great at live performances, and once you put her on a festival setting with the way her new songs are sounding, it's going to be a little flat. That's all I'm saying. Now, onto the positive, back onto the positive. Ones to watch, Leeds' own Yard Act, fresh off the back of their second album, Where's My Utopia, that dropped earlier this year. They have got a billing on Woody's stage, or Woodsy's stage on Saturday. I was going to say English Teacher for this one to watch slot, the kind of band who are under the radar but are going to deliver a performance that will win them some headlines. Problem with English Teacher for this one is they're playing, I think, the left field tent, which doesn't have any TV coverage. We live in an age of visualization. If there's not professional live recordings of the performance, it's going to be very hard for it to go viral and carry a lot of acclaim online. So I've gone for Yard Act. I think these guys are really starting to play around with their role as this post-punk, working class band from Leeds who now feel a pressure to make kind of commercially viable pop music with a major label deal. So they're my ones to watch. Surprise Package, a band who might not be the smallest name, but one who I think out of the blue are going to deliver a massive performance that people might not be expecting. Bombay Bicycle Club. I've seen these guys live at All Points East Festival in London a few years ago. They've got some amazing collaborations on their latest album, My Big Day, which is one of the best albums with one of the worst cover arts I've ever seen. But I think they've really stepped their game up with that album, and I think this performance at Glastonbury is just going to kind of solidify them as festival favourites. They're so experienced. Jack Steadman is such a great frontman with such a great voice. They're going to bring the energy. They're going to get people bouncing. From I Had the Blues, but I Shook 'Em Loose right up to their latest album. They make hits. They make hits. And finally, the social media moment that will make everyone lose their shit. This is a bit of a wild one for me. It's a bit of a wild one. It's a bit left field. I think Taylor Swift is going to end up backstage with The National. She has collaborated with The National before. I believe The National have written songs for her before. They share a friendship. She's actually performing on the Sunday evening, this Sunday, in Dublin, at the Dublin Arena. But knowing Taylor Swift, I don't think she will be able to pass up an opportunity to go to a very high-profile event like Glastonbury and kind of make it about her. No shade intended. And a chance as well to see her friends. And what else do we know about Taylor Swift? She is not lacking in access to private, speedy transport options. She'll probably get a helicopter or a private jet over to Glastonbury after her Dublin show. So those are my predictions for Glastonbury 2024. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. Let me know if you think I'm right, and what you think will be the headlines from this year's festival. I'm just looking forward to watching a fair bit of it on TV and seeing how much I got correct. So I said Dua Lipa would have the performance of the festival. Songs like this are why I think she's really gonna take it to the next level. This is from her latest album, Radical Optimism. It's called These Walls.
Maybe we should switch gears.